Hi, welcome to my video. Today I'm fishing on the upper Trent. Now this particular stretch I've not fished for about 5 years. I know it's 5 years because I keep notes on all my sessions, and I had a look back before I came here. It was actually July 2015 last time I was up here. I've only fished this stretch twice before, both quite memorable occasions, so I'm not quite sure why I've left it 5 years. The first time I fished here, I was fishing pretty much in the middle of the stretch, and I managed to catch a 5 pound 12 ounce eel, which was quite a shock. I wasn't trying to catch an eel, but certainly memorable. I caught a few chub with that as well. And the second time I fished up here, I fished up the far end where it's all overgrown and actually made my own peg and had a good session. I caught some chub and some barbel, including an 11 pound fish, and I ended up with an article in Angling Times, which is really about sometimes it's worth fishing where no one else is and making your own peg. I was hoping to fish there again today, but when I arrived I went to go up that way, but the farmer's put sheep in the field and he's put a lock on the gate so you can't get up there, and it's too difficult to walk up there because the gate's locked. It's got barbed wire on it and everything, so that was no good. Now I did walk this stretch not long ago and saw another peg which I thought was interesting, so sort of marked that for the future. So I thought I'll fish there. There's one angler on the whole stretch other than me, and you can guess where he is? In the peg that I was going to fish as well. So this effectively is my third choice swim. I've got to be honest, I'm not totally confident in it, but I'm here, so I'm going to give it a go, and we'll see what happens. I'll show you the swim in a minute, and I'll also show you my phone in terms of the Deeper Pro Plus, because I've already put that through, and I must admit that was quite interesting. So yeah, so let's have a look at the peg then. So this is my peg. As you can see, I've already got my shelter up, and I've already got my rods out. Actually though, I've not put any bait out yet. I was really just testing the leads and see what weight of lead I needed. They've actually got 3.5 ounce leads on, and they're both okay. So there's a tree to my left which is causing a bit of a crease. I'm not sure whether you can see on the video, but there's a line of sort of white water where the flow is there. So that rod is on that line, and then to my right I've got some trees down here, and this one is only fished about a rod length out just down to my right. So that one I'm going to use a bait dropper later on. I'm going to put a bit of hemp and a few pellets down there and fish that one quite close in, as this one will go further out with PVA bags on. So that's the swim. As I say, I've got no idea whether this produces. I've never fished here before, so we'll find out. Right, let's have a look at the Deeper Pro Plus then. So this is what I saw when I put the Deeper Pro Plus through. So I put it through quite a few times, but I've stopped it here just to show you what I'm seeing. So when I chuck it to the left about 3 or 4 rod lengths out on that sort of main flow, it shows it's 7.2 feet, but then when I run it to my right, you'll see it slowly gets shallower and shallower and shallower, and eventually there's almost a small cliff face where it goes all the way up to sort of 4.5 foot. So that's quite an increase. So my plan is to put my left hand rod sort of in the slightly deeper water at the base of that incline. I guess it could be a place where food gathers, and you know, it's the deepest point on this little bit here, so that's where that rod's going to go. Now the other rod, as I said, is to the right, only about a rod length out, and I'll show you there. So that bit is really quite flat and quite consistent. So this is, just wait for it to get there. So that was me reeling it in. Right, this bit here now, you see this flat bit to the right here. This flat bit's like 4.9, just very steady, very flat, doesn't look like there's much weed. So that's sort of to my right, a rod length out. So that, I'm going to put some bait on that flat bit and put my right hand rod there. So that's the plan. And really that's the beauty of a GoPro. You can really find out where all the depths are, and therefore it helps you with your positioning of your rods. So that's the plan anyway. Fingers crossed it works. Right, it's now getting towards dusk. It's nearly 8:30, so I'm going to spot some bait on this near side. As I said before, it's quite flat here, so bait out. So in here I've got some particles, quite a bit of hemp and a few pellets, and I'm going to put about half a dozen of these out down here. There we go. Right. Just want to go. Perfect. Just release that down there, get a bit more bait. Again, lots of mainly hemp with a few pellets in. Two. I will do at least half a dozen. I won't record all of them, obviously. It'll be a bit boring. I'm sure you get the gist. So right, I'm going to cast out now. This is a 2.2 test curve rod. It's a 10-pound fluorocarbon hook length, 3.5 ounce lead, size 10 hook to a 15mm boilie with a few boilies and a PVA on the end. I'm going to put this out now underarm just over that bait that I've just put out. Spot on. Okay, that's that one out. Move the camera a second. Maybe put it a bit closer. And we'll get the other rod out now. This setup is exactly the same as the other one, except for it's a size 8 hook and it's a size 18 boilie. Other than that, it's the same. I've got a isotope on the end just so I can see it at night. So let's get this one out. Spot on. Well, we're in. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. can't make up my mind how it feels decent. Oh. Ooh, it's definitely pulling back hard. Oh. Oh. Blimey. Oh. There we have sight of a fish. Ooh. No, come back. Come back. Oh. Bring it out. It's in. It's in the net. Get in. Oh my word, that put up a good fight. Oh. If you can see it down there. Right, so we'll give that a rest, and myself, and we'll get it out and have a look. Right, here we have the fish. Oh, look at that. What a whopper. Very nice fish. 11 pound 6 ounce. Put up a hell of a fight. Pretty clean. I think it has got one mark. Just got one mark just by its fin there. You can see that. Look, a red mark there. And there. Looks like it might have been bitten when it was younger, maybe. Don't know. But lovely fish. 11 pound 6. Right, let's get it back in. Right, well the fish is now rested. You can see there it's in the net. So let's see if hopefully it can now go. There it goes. There it goes, back into the depths. Excellent fish. Very pleased to have met you. Now, let's see if we can get another one. Well, morning. Just had my breakfast. A sticky red pot noodle. Certainly one of my favourites to have on the bank. Nice and easy to cook. Well, there was just that one fish during the night. Obviously a good fish at 11 pound 6 ounce. And considering this was my third choice swim, I guess that's not a bad result. It's pretty misty and drizzly and horrible now. Had a fair bit of rain during the night. Weather forecaster was awful. 1 minute it was saying no rain, then loads of rain, and then all sorts of percentages of chances. But I guess as anglers you'll probably know that the weather forecast can't be trusted. I think the interesting thing was the fish came on the rod that was on the inside. So it's only maybe a rod length out, maybe not even that far out. And I think that's probably an area that anglers often neglect. Most people will cast out into the river. I'm not suggesting you always put a rod down the inside or it's always going to work. It obviously depends on the river and on the swim, but it's definitely worth considering. I mean, my rationale for that rod really was I've got an overhanging tree just above me, I've got one just below me, and there was a really nice flat area which wasn't too weedy, reasonable depth at 5 foot, and you can imagine fish would travel up and down there between the cover. The other good thing about fishing close into the bank is you can use a bait dropper to put bait in accurately. Just a little underhand flick, put some bait in, and then do the same with your actual hook and bait over the top, so you can do it very accurately. You know where you're fishing. It's nice and simple. And to be honest, over the years I've caught quite a few fish down the inside like that. It's a tactic that's certainly worth considering anyway. And as you can see, it was successful last night. So that's it then. I'm going to finish this coffee, and then I'm going to pack away in this drizzle, and I'm going to head off home. Thanks for watching. See you again.